Welcome to April's Nudes Community Fireplace. Once again, it is the last Tuesday of the month, so we're here kicking back and having a little fireside chat. We'll talk about all things Meme2Earn, nudes, meme of the day, and any new developments, crypto markets, and anything else that comes up, as well as answer any questions the community may have. Oh, and last but not least, we'll burn some nudes. For those who may not know, Meme2Earn.com is a state-of-the-art, revolutionary meme-to-earn platform built on the Neo N3 blockchain. On Meme2Earn, users can earn crypto in the form of our native token called nudes by posting memes, commenting on them, and even just browsing through them. We've been around for over 2 years, and to date, over 11,000 users have posted over 212,000 memes, all of which have a total of over 15 million impressions. What's more is every day we hold a new and unique meme contest we call Meme of the Day, where we send $420 every 2 weeks to the best memes of the week posted on Meme2Earn. Other people, projects, and companies hold meme contests on Meme2Earn, as well as sponsor Meme of the Day contests. Our current Meme of the Day sponsors are ndap.org, Zatoxy, and Flamingo Finance. For those listening in on YouTube or Spotify, we hold these fireplaces live on Discord, which we'll link below so you can join us in the next one. And please don't forget to like and subscribe from any platform you're tuning in from. Your support is greatly appreciated and is important to get more memers at the fireplace each month. If you're in the audience, feel free to raise your hand and come join us on stage to ask any questions you may have, or drop your questions in the chat and we'll keep tabs on it. Okay, so let's get this thing started. First, I wanted to mention that we have 4.420% of nudes left to burn from the total supply, off from the recently announced total burn amount of 69.420%. One of our lead devs is currently in Dubai, Mr. Google. He's speaking at the Token 2049 event there, so we're not able to burn the entire 4.420% today, but we do have some nudes that will be burning in this AMA fireplace. So at Laser will at least be able to burn some of that, and then we'll burn the rest at probably the next AMA when Mr. Google comes back, so we can kind of get a hold of all the nudes in various places. Basically, some of them are coming from the old nudes liquidity pools on Flamingo. Some of them are coming from sponsors. Some of them are coming from I think that's it. I think it's from pools and from sponsors. But we'll burn what we have left to burn today, and we'll burn the rest in the next AMA.
Yeah. And there's some from the site usage, so I've collected it up. The wallet that I used to burn is quite empty, so I'm just buying for now off the market, and so that we at least burn the amount from site usage and from AMA participation. So we're at least doing that as usual.
Nice. We're buying some nudes and buy and burn.
Buy and burn, yes.
Sweet. Speaking of buy, nudes was up 48% on Flamingo yesterday. That was pretty sweet to see.
Yeah, maybe it's better to have a token that act like a pure meme token. Who knows? Seems like people are eager on that all over the crypto space.
Yeah. I don't think it's still up 48%, but it was for a time there. I'm going to go check to see what it is now.
It was just at the screen.
It's at 22% today, so...
Yeah.
Okay, it went up 48%, and then it kind of, someone sold, and it fell down to 22%, but that's still pretty damn good for a 24-hour trade. Yeah, so let's talk about the nudes listing on the Flamingo Finance Order Book Plus. I don't think we've had an AMA since, or we did, but I was sick, so we kind of canceled the last AMA at the last second. And I'm sick again in this AMA, but I'm here. So yeah, like let's get into that a little bit. The nudes liquidity pools on Flamingo, paired with FLM as well as BNEO, they were reverse pools. So you could stake in those liquidity pools and earn nudes as your reward. Those got removed from Flamingo. Personally speaking, I think that's a good thing, because I think over time that was only hurting the nudes price, because people were staking in those pools, earning nudes, and then selling the rewards, which actually hurt the nudes price in the long term. So even though those liquidity pools, brought liquidity to nudes on Flamingo, I think ultimately it's better this way, to have it just kind of be a free market. There is a FUSD nudes liquidity pool on Flamingo now, but it doesn't actually give rewards. So yeah, it's really a tried and true meme coin on Flamingo, listed on Flamingo's order book plus. So you can now make completely on-chain, decentralized, block-based limit orders for nudes on Flamingo. So you can go in, set the price that you want to buy it at or sell it at, set the amount that you want to buy or sell. Basically just place the order, and the order gets put on the order book, and it gets filled when you have someone else filling the order. So if you put a buy order at 0.000004, and then someone puts a sell order at 0.00004, then boom, you bought your nudes, you get the nudes in your trading account, and then you just have to withdraw them to your wallet. It's basically exactly like a SEX. So you're basically trading just like you would on a centralized exchange, but in this case, every trade is on the Neo blockchain. We love that because, for one thing, there's no KYC involved. You don't have to tell us or tell Flamingo who you are. You don't have to send Flamingo an ID. You don't have to do any of that. It's all just right on the blockchain, your keys, everything. So it's still completely decentralized, private, secure. These are things that centralized exchanges can't really say. Centralized exchanges, you're essentially trading with paper trades, quote unquote, so to speak, which is basically just when you're trading on a centralized exchange, and I'm sure AtLaser or Nude Laser can talk a little bit more about this as well, but when you're trading on a centralized exchange, you're essentially sending your crypto to them and letting them do whatever they want with that, and then just like putting numbers on a database. They're in the background, like putting the numbers on a database, and then at some point you have to withdraw, if they let you, your crypto back to your wallet.
Yeah. Well,
so every token is traded on a centralized exchange doesn't necessarily even mean that all of those tokens exist on that exchange. Sometimes exactly. they're making up numbers.
Yeah, it's a black box. Basically, like the whole current monetary system that we have, the fiat system, it's the same thing. It's a black box. You don't know if your bank has the money or not have the money. You just basically have to trust them. That's why it's nice to see a token like Nudes trade on Flamingo Finance, which is everything is transparent. You can just go look at the numbers. It's a bit technical if you're like a complete noob. It's maybe hard to call a node manually to check if the amounts are there, but you get these watchdogs like Neo Dashboard, who used to be part of the team. If something's fishy going on, he's immediately in the community channels, and he's like trying to figure out what's going on and getting the message out there. And I love that. Some people might find that annoying, but I love the watchdogs who are technical and can look at the on-chain data and yell everything something suspicious is happening and call it out. So that's really good, because for the non-technical people, they could just follow them in the proper channels, and they can get alerted if something fishy happens. And with a centralized exchange, that can go on for years before maybe SEC, the SEC in the US, or some other governing body like EU or in Asia decides to control them and make requests for data or seize servers and just check, are the numbers correct? Are you doing something fishy? That can happen for years without you knowing. So that's something so cool. I've been thinking a lot about money lately. Like, what is money? I read the Bitcoin Standard many years ago, and before that, I really didn't have any clue what money was. I had an idea. I think the standard Western idea of what money is: someone has deposited something into a bank, and banks can lend them out, and it's backed by gold. That's like maybe the narrative I was told from when I was little. But it's not that anymore. It's something completely different. And being in crypto every day, like thinking about the Nudes token as money, thinking about the Flamingo FLM token as money, thinking about Bitcoin as money. What is money? So it's, I think what I really like about crypto as money, if it can be categorized as money, is that it is permissionless. That's one of the things I really love about crypto. And I love cash as well in Norwegian kroners. That is my currency where I live. And I guess for your case, Boris, is US dollars in cash, because it's something you have in when we're moving towards, or we was at least moving towards central digital bank currencies. Something where the government could basically just seize control or control your spending. That's something I'm really, really, really against. So that, like, crypto is kind of like cash, and I love that. It's yours. So you can't like just take it away from them. So seeing something like Nudes, where someone values something spontaneously, it can be because they like the name, just Nudes, and they appreciate that and they want to collect it. Like, value spontaneously just occurs from that. And if people want to transact with that, either if it's on the Meme2Earn platform or just trade it on Flamingo or somewhere else, it becomes money basically, spontaneously over time. Or I can't say spontaneously, but it spontaneously gets value, and it gets used to transfer value over time. Then it kind of looks like money. So it's so cool that you can have like a niche money called Nudes and transact with it. So it's a long digression there, but I've been thinking a lot about this lately.
Yeah, this is an awesome discussion, especially here at the Nudes Fireplace, because we talk about, and for those who don't know, the Nudes team is also the Flamingo Finance team. So we talk about money a lot on the Flamingo AMAs, because Flamingo is a finance platform, and so the whole thing is really about finance and crypto and money. But we talk less about the Nudes token, like financially, and what that actually means here on the Nudes AMAs. So I'm really glad that this has come up, and I'd like to continue talking about this if people are interested. But to me, money is essentially like a belief system, right? Someone has to believe that something has value, and someone else, in order to exchange it, also has to believe that has value. Like the US dollar has value because everyone believes it has value, basically. Like, if you don't believe the US dollar has value, then I can't give you it. You would not want it, right? If you didn't think it had any value, or if you didn't think you could use it anywhere, or buy anything else with it. So it's kind of an equal distribution of this like belief system that it has value. And that's, like you said, it's kind of what's happening with crypto and with nudes. It could be because a token has utility. It could be because a token has a name. It could be because a token was here first, like Bitcoin. It could be because something acts as a very nice store of value. It could be because everything's decentralized. It could be because, like, there's so many different reasons. And that's kind of what I like about the crypto space, is that although all these different tokens and coins have various values, a lot of it is based on different things, right? Like someone who likes nudes and values nudes might not, like and value, Ethereum in the same way for the same reasons. Even though Ethereum has value and nudes has value compared to, let's say, USD or Norwegian currency or whatnot, people are valuing these things, but for different reasons, which I don't know. You may or may not be able to say about fiat currency. Fiat currency is typically just like people value it because, like you said, you're kind of told from a childhood that, like, this is worth something. This piece of paper is worth something, or this coin is worth something. You can give it to other people for other things.
Yeah, we need to like remember also that the fiat currencies had the transition period by being backed by gold earlier. So that was like it was a narrative earlier that it was backed by something else that had value. But it's just a small, and then the lies get told that it's still backed, and then we just believe it, like you say. And yeah, sorry for the interruption. Continue.
Yeah, no worries. And yeah, like, to go on that, the US dollar used to be backed by gold. I don't think it's any longer backed by gold, or maybe it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's no longer. So now it literally is just a belief system.
Yes. In my opinion, it is. They say it's backed by the economy of the US, but they usually say that about any fiat currency. Like this is like a common. If your dad or your uncle is or your aunt is not into crypto, and you get into the discussion, the typical like feedback. Once they realize they're not. Their currency is not backed by gold anymore. They say, yeah, but it's backed by the whole GDP of the nation. And then I usually ask the question, okay, so how do I exchange my kroners or dollars for GDP? Can I just go to the bank and ask, hey, I have X amount of USD, can you give me some GDP, please? You can't. So it's not really backed by, in that sense, in the same way it was with gold. You could exchange that back into gold. And you can't just go and say, I want a piece of the GDP, please. So it doesn't really work like that. Of course, the central banks or some extension of the government sometimes buy with some sort of surplus. They buy their own currency on the foreign markets or the forex markets. That drives the price up. So it's kind of like holding that you're getting into like a buyback program, which should give your token or shitcoin some value, but it's not really backed by anything anymore. In that sense, we thought about currencies being backed by gold, and I think it's fine. It can be a belief system, but you need to be aware that that is happening. And with any token that hasn't like given away its control over minting, they can mint more tokens, and it's the same in the fiat, and they do a lot. They do mint more fiat. That's the privilege of the central banks, basically run by the governments, and for the projects is their prerogative. I think I use that term correctly, to print more money. Some projects don't, and some projects do. So just something you need to be aware of, and I think it's possible to print more. It's possible to burn.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I absolutely love about nudes. Nudes has only ever been deflationary. We've only ever burned from the total supply. We've never minted more. It's only ever been deflationary, which is, obviously the opposite of inflationary. And it's the inflationary stuff that you got to kind of keep tabs on. And yeah, it can get out of control really quickly. And that's why a lot of people look at the US dollar and other fiat currencies as, just absolutely plummeting from, the day they were essentially invented because of all the inflation that's happened over the years. One US dollar could buy you a house, 100 years ago or whatnot. And today it's, 400,000 US dollars buys you a house. So, that's all due to inflation. There's way more in circulation than there ever was before. So it's all supply and demand, right? And if the supply's going crazy over 100 years, this is what happens. That's one thing that Nudes has going for it. That's another thing that Bitcoin has going for it. Bitcoin is only 21 million, only will ever have 21 million. And I guess less because so many have been, lost. But that's one thing I really like about Bitcoin. And one thing that kind of brought me to crypto to begin with. I started as kind of a Bitcoin maxi, then from there moved into Neo, then from there moved into, Flamingo. And from there, we started Nudes. So it was kind of like this progression. But yeah. It all kind of started with, just like Nude Laser was talking about. Like, I started losing faith in the US dollar and the fiat. And I basically had my own belief system, internal belief system, somewhat, shattered over the years. And Bitcoin was kind of where I turned to. And I haven't looked back since.
No, I kind of have had the I shouldn't say opposite journey, but not the same as yours. I was maybe first a crypto Tegan, like all into altcoins and all of different coins I could mine using GPUs, and then slowly became more and more. You can say you become more a Bitcoin maxi, maybe, because that's your maxi, so it's only Bitcoin. But you know what I mean. You progress towards that one or the other depending on where you start. So you look at the fundamentals and you learn more, get basically educated. And I think some people land a little bit in the middle, I guess, where we are, and some go towards the maxi, and I guess some people, they become vegans and either they lose all their money and never come back, or they lose some money maybe, and then okay, I need to take care of this, I need to learn more, and then they end up somewhere in the middle. You don't stay vegan forever, because if you do, I guess you lose. But it's okay to have a little bit of fun. I think it's okay to look at this with not black and white. Like nails you used to make a house has been used as currencies before. So why not something called Nudes token? That's fun, that has some utility, that it's been around for a long time. It's been a meme coin long before meme coins were as hot as they are right now, or been for the past 6 months. So, so it's really interesting, and I love to see that in the Neo ecosystem, especially to have one or more.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because that was going to be my actually very next point. Like, the reason why I'm not 100% Bitcoin maxi is because although I, truly believe in Bitcoin, and that's kind of where I started, and I still hold quite a bit of Bitcoin, and still, obviously I'm all about Bitcoin. It's not as fun as some of these other ecosystems and tokens and meme coins and DeFi and all of these things that you can do with crypto. Bitcoin is awesome in its own way, and it's kind of tried and true. It's a really nice store of value. It was, the very first cryptocurrency, as far as I'm aware. I think, I don't know. I've read some things here and there that like cryptocurrency actually existed before Bitcoin or something, but I can't like quote anything off the top of my head. But I think Bitcoin was the first legitimate one. But it's not. It doesn't have like the fun, like you mentioned, about like that Nudes has, or even FLM or Flox has, because On Flamingo, I have fun like looking into all of these different ways of utilizing your tokens, right? So on Flamingo, you can add tokens to liquidity pools and earn rewards that way. You can trade on Order Book Plus, completely fully decentralized. Now you can buy this Flocks token, which gives you diversified dividends. All of these things are like, yeah, rewarding, and financially can be financially rewarding and earn you more tokens and that nature. But it's also fun. Like, it's fun for me to wake up and be like, what can I do with my tokens today, which you can't really say for Bitcoin is more just like storing your value or holding your value and hoping that it goes up over time. But like, it's not really used for like quote unquote like utility, like some of these other tokens are used for. And that's kind of why I have kind of expanded my horizons and into more crypto and more tokens than just holding Bitcoin, because I like to have fun and I like to be entertained and I like to do things with my money, which you don't really do with Bitcoin. You just kind of hold it.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people in crypto praise Bitcoin, and some are maxis, a lot are not. And as you said, it's nice to have some options, and some of them are really fun. And I think if we look at traditional finance, TradFi, we look at the banking and money, and we take a look at gold, is like, in my mind, when I used to think about these things, it would be like banking, old men in suits, like really serious and not fun at all. And same with finance and investments, is the Warren Buffett type guy or the young Wall Street guy with a suit and a slick haircut. And it's kind of like off limits. You as a citizen should stay away from this. Let the big boys play this game. And like, along comes Bitcoin, and I guess it's fun for in the beginning for all these cypherpunks, or what they call them, the crypto punks, that was trying to make this digital money. And it was a niche thing, and probably for them really, really cool and fun, but it matured over the years. And then came along the broader crypto space with a lot of different currencies, some with their own chain, some tokens, several tokens on a single chain, doing a lot of different stuff. And then along come DeFi, taking away that environment where, or taking away, or giving, I should say, giving the opportunity to everyone to dabble in finance in a way where they don't have to register for a service with their ID and everything. Just some play money that they could trade and pretend to do finance, or not even pretend, it is finance. So I think it's so cool that that power has been given to everyone now to do finance and do money and do banking and to own and even create your own currency. It's really cool with the Nudes token. We've done that. I mean, we've shown that we are a community that are willing to transact with this token. Even before the Meme2Earn site, we could just send it to each other, and that had value. If that value was just having fun, it had some value. And I also like to hold different currencies, and I hold Nudes, and I hold FLM, and I hold a plethora of other tokens, and I hold Bitcoin. What I do try to hold as little as possible is fiat. I would rather like hold shares of a company instead, at least have something similar to what you have in the US, some tips, some treasury, what is it, inflation protected securities. So at least you're hedged against inflation. So I'm more liberal when it comes to the finance, I guess. I want the people to have the power, and they do with Nudes.
Yeah, my only issue with not holding fiat because I'm the same way. I don't want anything to do with fiat. But the thing that I do want to do with fiat, like the only time I wish I had more fiat is when the markets are low or crashed, and I want to buy a bunch of stuff, but I can't because I don't have any dry powder, and then I have to like
of course, yes,
trade other stocks
yeah.
to other stocks and whatnot. But that's a little different.
But that becomes more like a specific investment strategy. And for my own case, that's something I've learned the hard way and trying to do more and more of now. There's not financial tips coming from me now or on any of the podcasts that I do, but it's a really good book called The Intelligent Investor, written by Warren Buffett's. What's it called? The guy who taught him. What's the proper name for that in English? Like his
mentor.
Mentor, yes, yeah. So he has a really good rule that you can take over to crypto, like called 50-50, and that's maybe 50% fiat and 50% crypto. And once it goes over like 80% the other part, you need to sell and buy. So you don't have to be 50-50, but like set yourself a limit and let the portfolio balance itself so that you're able to buy cheap and sell high. Of course, if you're hodler, you can just hodl. Of course, that's nice, but it's really sad to see low prices and not being able to scoop up more. So hodling and the dollar cost average is one strategy, but also they have done well for several years, like the Warren Buffett type of value investor, by at least holding some cash. And that could be, you don't have to hold cash in your bank account. There are several options of holding diversified bonds where you can get some dividends on your cash. Or else you will try to compete with the inflation. And that's why I would like to hold as little as possible, but still have a bag to buy when prices are good. Yeah. It's good you mentioned that. It's a nice nuance.
Yeah. Have you heard of like Dave Ramsey at all?
Not familiar. I think
he has an investing / just money in general podcast. He does a YouTube channel and podcasts and stuff. He's
probably I've seen him in my YouTube feed. Yeah,
one of the more popular financial podcasters here in the States, at least. But I was kind of watching one of his videos the other day on X, and he was saying when the market crashes, like a lot of you are crying, but we're real hardcore investors are smiling because we're just buying more.
Yes,
and that's the kind of mindset that I typically have too when markets crash and everyone's crying. I'm just like, that's when I start feeling greedy. And
yes,
but if I don't have any more fiat, then I have to figure out what I can sell in order to buy other stuff, and it becomes a little bit of a challenge to kind of figure that out, because it's easy. It's an easy way to just be like, oh, just put more, 10,000 more fiat into Bitcoin or whatever. But if you don't have any, then you have to figure out what you can sell. And a lot of times markets crash together, right? So NEO might be down 20%, Bitcoin's down 20%, FLM's down 20%. They're all down 20%. So it's not as easy to kind of trade in and out of things, right? Without holding the dry powder and fiat. So that's the only reason why I would hold some fiat. But you're right. Yeah. There are other things you can do with your fiat while you wait, like, the dividend-bearing assets and whatnot. But
yeah, they should just be easily convertible so that they're liquid, highly liquid, so that you're able to strike when the prices are good. And we say prices are good, we mean prices are low, right? Yes. But that Dave Ramsey guy, he's a real estate guy, right? I remember him in my feed now. So yeah. So
he does real estate. He does a lot of his stuff is just people calling in with financial trouble, and he just kind of gives kind of a point blank answer to them on kind of how to go from where they are in their situation. He's got this multi-step I guess platform or multi-step system to help people turn into millionaires. I think his whole thing is very traditional he hates Bitcoin. He hates
I know.
crypto.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what works. This is what's worked for like 100,000 millionaires. It's always these exact rules, and it's this kind of thing. So I don't know. I started listening to him a while ago because my dad always listened to him, but you got to take everything with a grain of salt, because the guy hates crypto and I'm all in on crypto, so I don't follow anything he says. But it's still interesting to hear these conversations he's having with people who are in a really hard place, like people who are in $100,000 in credit card debt and don't know what to do. So he has these rules, like, first you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do that, then you have to have an emergency fund and this and that. And I don't know, he's interesting to listen to.
It's good, and to people like Dave Ramsey, my argument would be, okay, still, if you don't believe in it, still, if you say it has zero value, if you recognize that it could potentially have value, if there's a slightest odds that it could compete with gold, maybe, and it is like Bitcoin is showing that it can compete with gold in terms of value, and you see it's getting more and more adoption, and more bigger institutions putting their faith into Bitcoin. They should recognize that there is a statistical chance for Bitcoin to become something big, and then maybe at the cost of fiat. It might be. You should at least hold it as an arrow security. An arrow security would be something that you hold as a type of insurance if something like that happens. So why should you hold at least a little bit if there's a chance that it might happen? Especially to a real estate guy. Do you have insurance for your properties? Of course they do.
Right.
Yes, they want. Yeah. So do they have insurance for their money? No, that's not possible, right? Yeah, but it is because there might be something threatening your money, and that could be crypto. So at least hold a little bit as, like, that's called an arrow security. I'm not such a fan of it because it's like a neoclassical economist term where they define arrow security, so there could be like maybe a million different types of security, and if you hold them all, you're hedged against any type of scenario. I don't think that exists, but like in idea, I think it's good to hold something that's a hedge against your other bets. So if you're heavy in property, if you're heavy in traditional finance and fiat, why not hold it as an insurance at least? So
Yeah, I
not
agree. It's so close-minded against it. Like, why? There's no reason to be so close-minded against a very specific asset, especially one that's been just cranking and cranking over the years. Like, at some point, you got to open your mind to it. At some point, like, at what point, Dave Ramsey, at what point did you say, okay, sorry, I was wrong? He's never said that, which kind of pisses me off. But
so it's the same with Dave Ramsey and the gold bug guy, the Peter Schiff. Is that the same? Yeah. So it's like, if your belief system is that close, if it's finance, politics, or religion, and you're not open to other ideas, I doubt some of your other derived, let's say, theories from your belief system, because it seems that your belief system at the core is so close-minded that the theories and practices you derive thereof might be flawed because you're not open to other thoughts. At least some of them you're really you close the book. You don't want to hear about it. You don't want to entertain the idea even. So I never like to discuss with people who are that close-minded, because you usually can't get anywhere in a discussion. I love to try. I love to see if we could open people's mind, and it's the same when I get into the discussion, like with nudes. Like, why nudes? I like to try at least to change their mind, like with the exact topics that we've talked about today. How I can consider nudes to be a maybe money that's better than the fiat that I hold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all good points. All good points. It reminds me of I think these closed-minded guys, like, who are talking about, like, I think it becomes over time, the more and more you stand for something and stand against something, the more and more difficult it becomes to say you were wrong. And it's because you have a whole community of people at that point following you for, say, your belief in gold and your disbelief in Bitcoin. And at some point, you have to tell those thousands of people who believe in you. So yeah, the problem with that is you have all these followers following you for something that you've been saying all along, but it becomes really tough to say to those thousands of followers, I was wrong. I've been wrong all along. It becomes really hard. So I can understand why these people who are Bitcoin naysayers and all about gold or whatnot, like why they're sticking to their guns, so to speak. It becomes really tough to just flip the switch on thousands of people. And for example, my wife used to be a vegan influencer. That was kind of her job. That was her career. That was her path. She had a lot of followers. She's got millions of views on her YouTube videos and stuff. And at one point, she just like stopped being vegan because she was getting, becoming a little bit unhealthy of various factors, and started eating meat and drinking milk and stuff and whatnot, and started like seeing the benefits of that. And it was a struggle. It was really hard for her to kind of come to terms with that, because she had all these thousands of followers who she had been spreading the vegan message to for all these years, how it was the healthiest way to be, healthiest diet, and then at some point had to just like tell everyone she was wrong. It made her leave the whole space, the health space in general. She doesn't do that anymore because she doesn't want to be put in a box and then not ever be able to like climb out of that box. Now she has thousands of haters because she had eventually put a video out that she's not vegan anymore. Now her whole community of followers are all a community of haters. So
that has to be like,
it's hard to like kind of flip your. Even if those guys do believe in Bitcoin now, I could see why they might not even admit it. But
yeah, that has to be even harder than like leaving church. Leaving veganism behind. They can be ruthless.
Yeah, and with all the social media, not only is it your thousands of followers, but it's all the people who follow your followers too, who see them hating you online. And so next thing you know, you have millions of people like hating you or thinking that everyone hates you and all this stuff. It gets gross really quickly. So
yeah.
But anyway, just real quick, on the chat, someone says the devs need to look into the Meme2Earn site. Yeah, I guess the nudes price on the Meme2Earn site was different than the price on Flamingos. So when we sent Meme of the Day rewards recently, winners got less because the prices weren't the same for some reason.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. So they get the proper rewards.
Yep. And also need a direct tab to redirect us to the winners list instead of it just being a link.
Yeah. Let me just see if I can burn today's nudes. So give me a couple of minutes just to dabble with the technical stuff here, and I'll be back soon.
What else is going on? Zatrov, how's the Turkish? And Morton, how's the Turkish currency fiat going? Speaking of fiat crumbling. Not so good still?
I guess it was just me and you this time, boys.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can anyone speak? Anyone there?
All right.
What, you got some ready to burn?
Yes, I am ready. Just do the countdown. I'll share the transaction in the general chat.
How many are we burning?
It is 2.3 trillion, I guess. It's always hard with these numbers. It must be 2.3 trillion.
Did you buy them on Order Book Plus for that?
There was a mix between.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice. All right, let's count it down. 5, 4, 3, 2,
3, 2, 1.
Burn.
I love the unsynchronized the countdown.
Yeah.
You need to enable soundboard. I found
Yeah.
it.
And who's gonna make the Mr. Google's joke now? Hold on.
He's not here.
Where did you send it?
Thank you. I used the black hole invocation, so I did it right. Fake Mr. Google. We need to have that at the soundboard as well once we figure it out, so that we when he's not here, that joke gets.
I'm going to look into why I can't use the soundboard on the stages, and I'm also going to look into seeing if it's possible to hold these AMAs on a channel that we can use the soundboard on, because I'm a little bit annoyed by that. But yeah, that's for another time. Anyway, with that said, we've got 8 minutes left. I want to make sure that the team has a few minutes to, do what they need to do before our next AMA over at the Flamingo Finance Discord channel. If you guys want to keep talking to us over there, feel free to join us on the Flamingo Finance Discord. We'll be there for the next hour or so talking about all things Flamingo. So thanks again, everyone in the audience. Thanks again, everyone on YouTube and Spotify for listening. We hold these AMAs live on Discord. We'll link in the description below, so feel free to join us at the next one. Thanks again, everyone. We'll see you next time.